You know that feeling. You wake up the morning after a fantastic barbecue, and your chest just feels, well, unusually heavy. Or maybe you just drag through the entire next day feeling completely sluggish. A lot of us just shrug it off, right? We say, I'm just getting older. Or maybe we kind of stubbornly pretend we're still in our 20s and can devour absolutely anything we want. But here's the thing, it's not just aging. It is directly tied to how our bodies process 4 very common meats that are probably sitting right in your fridge today. So, welcome to this explainer. We're going to take a really close look at these everyday favorites and see exactly how our bodies handle them once we pass the age of 65.
Okay, let's dive into this. If you are experiencing that heaviness, your body is actually sending you a very loud, very clear signal. After we hit 65, our body's inner processing plant changes dramatically. We simply can't process food exactly the same way we did back in the day. But hey, don't worry. This is absolutely not about banning your favorite foods. It's really just about understanding that mechanical shift in your body so you can keep enjoying the stuff you love without that miserable, heavy aftermath.
So, here is a super quick look at our roadmap for today. We're going to cover 1. Aging in your body, 2. The pork belly trap, 3. Tonsoro's hidden fats, 4. Duck meat and purines, 5. The danger of seasonings, and then wrap things up with 6. Smarter choices and alternatives.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, Aging and Your Body. To truly get why these meats suddenly make us feel so sluggish, we need to pop the hood and look at what's happening as our metabolic and excretory functions naturally start to slow down. Think of your liver like a 24/7, highly efficient processing factory. Its main gig is to break down fats into usable energy. But, like any factory, its processing speed has a hard limit. When a massive shipment of fat shows up all at once, the liver just can't process it all, leaving the excess to circulate in your blood. Now let's toss alcohol into the mix. Your liver is also the guy in charge of breaking down alcohol, so if you send in a tidal wave of fat and alcohol at the exact same time, you are literally asking your factory workers to pull double duty on 2 massive jobs. The whole system gets backlogged, the machinery slows to a crawl, and boom, that is exactly why you feel so incredibly sluggish the next day.
Moving right along to Section 2, the pork belly trap. Pork belly. It is an absolute staple, right? Whether we're out at a restaurant or having a cozy family dinner, it is a crowd pleaser. But it hides some pretty serious challenges for older adults. First off, it is exceptionally high in fat compared to leaner cuts like filet or thigh. If you're munching away without paying attention, your fat intake just skyrockets. Second, think about how we normally eat pork belly. It's almost always paired with a cold beer or a glass of shochu. And as we just talked about, combining all that fat with alcohol completely overloads your aging liver. Finally, let's talk about the cooking method. We all love those crispy charred edges, but cooking over high flames creates something we really need to watch out for.
Those burnt, charred edges actually create a chemical compound called benzopyrene. Research shows that this chemical, which forms when food is burned, is something we should definitely try to minimize. Now, we don't need to panic if we have it once in a while, but we absolutely should be mindful of how often we're eating those burnt edges, no matter how delicious they are. This is especially crucial because our body's ability to excrete these kinds of compounds slows down a lot over time.
All right, Section 3, Tonsoro's hidden fats. So, tonsoro, or fatty pork neck, is incredibly popular. A lot of folks actively choose it over pork belly because they think it's the lighter, healthier option. But there is a massive gap here between perception and reality. The perception is that it's soft, light, and easy on the stomach. The reality? Its fat content is practically identical to pork belly. And because it's so soft and melts in your mouth, we tend to eat way more of it without even realizing it. On top of that, to give it that great flavor, it is usually heavily seasoned with salt. That places a silent but very real burden on aging kidneys. If you've ever woken up with a puffy face or swollen legs, you might want to look at hidden salt traps, exactly like this one.
Now, what's really interesting about this is the science of how tonsoro is cooked. Because it's often slow-cooked over heat to make it perfectly tender, it produces something called AGEs, or advanced glycation end products. Research suggests that these compounds, which form when proteins and fats react under long periods of high heat, might actually be linked to the aging of our blood vessels. So it's not just about what kind of meat you're eating, but the exact way you're cooking it that impacts your body. It's like a giant puzzle.
That brings us to Section 4, duck meat and purines.
Duck is constantly hyped up as this ultimate healthy stamina food, especially during the hot summer months.
And sure, it definitely has its pros. It's rich in iron and protein, which is fantastic for preventing anemia. But let's look at the cons. Duck meat contains surprisingly high levels of purines. Now, when your body breaks down purines, they turn into uric acid. For a young person, the kidneys just filter this out, no problem. But after 65, your kidneys' excretion function just isn't what it used to be. If you eat a ton of duck, that uric acid can build up, crystallize in your joints, and potentially trigger incredibly painful conditions like gout.
We also have to be super careful with how duck is served. If you're sitting down to a duck hot pot or a water-boiled dish, drinking that amazing broth means you are unknowingly chugging all the melted fats, sugars, and salts that cooked right out of the meat. Plus, because duck is such a popular summer dish, we have to be extra vigilant about cooking it thoroughly, since older immune systems can be a bit more vulnerable to food poisoning.
Next up, Section 5, the danger of seasonings.
Honestly, this might be the most easily overlooked pitfall of the whole bunch: pre-seasoned meats. We're talking about those incredibly convenient marinated items like kalbi or sweet teriyaki-style cuts you grab at the supermarket. Even if you intentionally choose a lean cut of meat, the marinade completely changes the game. These commercial sauces are just loaded with sugars, like mirin and corn syrup, alongside heavy amounts of salt from soy sauce and garlic. So the crucial point is this. When you combine the fat from the meat with the massive sugar hit of the marinade, the impact on your blood sugar is magnified. The fat and sugar hit your digestive tract at the same time, causing a rapid blood sugar spike that is honestly really tough on an aging system.
And there is one more sneaky little danger with these marinades. Because they are absolutely packed with sugar, they burn incredibly easily on the grill or in the frying pan. When sweet marinades burn, they create a chemical called acrylamide. While scientists are still researching the exact long-term health impacts of this chemical, health experts universally recommend staying away from these burnt, sugary edges for sure.
Finally, let's wrap things up with Section 6, smarter choices and alternatives.
Okay, I know we've talked a lot about the risks today, but the great news is we absolutely do not have to give up meat or stop enjoying fantastic food. Here is a super easy cheat sheet you can keep in mind the next time you hit the grocery store. Instead of that heavy pork belly, try skinless chicken. It gives you fantastic protein with a fraction of the fat. If you absolutely crave the richness of tonsuro, try swapping it for a bluefish like mackerel or sardines. These are packed with omega fatty acids that actually help balance out your blood lipids. And instead of duck, reaching for lean beef or pork fillet will give you that essential iron boost without dropping a heavy purine load on your kidneys.
And this brilliantly illustrates how implementing just a few simple kitchen habits can drastically reduce the burden on your internal organs. You don't have to throw all your favorite sauces in the trash. Just dilute them by half. Keep a close eye on the pan so things don't get charred. Try baking, steaming, or boiling to let that excess fat just drip right away instead of frying it. And whenever you can, just season simply with a little salt, pepper, and herbs. Actually, you might find you prefer tasting the real flavor of the meat anyway.
Which leads us to this final, powerful thought. Perfect health isn't about giving up what you love, it's about adjusting how you enjoy it. Keep in mind, if you have specific health conditions, you should always chat with your doctor or nutritionist to find the balance that works perfectly for your unique body. Our bodies change, for sure, but our joy for a really good meal doesn't have to. So I'll leave you with this to chew on. What small, delicious adjustment are you going to make to your favorite meal tonight to protect your health for tomorrow? Thanks so much for exploring this with me, and I'll catch you next time.